Hey guys, I'm back. It's a somewhat boring Tuesday. As you all know, I'm on the bench still, looking for contracting work. But in the meantime, so from my last video, I think it was less than a week ago. Um, some people didn't know what I meant by STIGs. You know, when I said STIGs, some people thought I was saying sticks. I guess some people may have thought it was an inside joke or whatever. But so I figured I'm gonna do a tutorial on what STIGs are, real quick, how to use them, what they're about. I figured this could be helpful for any aspiring IA or cyber security students. You know, if you're in college, you're trying to get into government IT or whatever. STIGs, or AKA STIG'ing, is a huge part of the DoD's answer to hardening assets, you know, workstations, servers, databases, sites, things of that nature. So I figure, since I talk down or bad about STIGs, there is a place for it. It is important. I think my main issue with it was that a lot of organizations look at it as the see all, do all, be all, and that's not the case. But it is important. You know, I personally, as I stated already, have an issue with doing them. But I'm going to do a quick tutorial. If you don't know anything about STIGs, you don't know what it is, what it's about, where it comes from, how to use it, hopefully I get your questions answered here. But before we jump into that, I do have to do the video Red Team book giveaway. So I'm going to jump to that. Okay, drum roll. Let me get the comments, hit the start, close these ads, and whoever this picks, if you hashtag Red Team, Tribe of Hackers, or a combination thereof. Hey, it's King Miles, found you through TCM Cyber Mentor. Cyber Mentor is super dope. Props to Cyber Mentor, always showing love. Definitely has great tutorials, great videos. Definitely check him out. I'll go ahead and put his link in my description as well. King Miles said, found you through TCM. Nice setup, thank you. Tribe of Hackers Red Team. Appreciate you. I'm going to reach out to you. Send me your email, so I could just go ahead and send you that book, and we'll take it from there. Also, I announced, well, I didn't announce, but I picked the winner for the email subscription earlier today. I sent that out. So again, I'm going to put a comment here somewhere if you want to just visit a monthly book giveaway on my website and enter a monthly chance to win a free IT book up to $50. You can do that there. So anyway, I got those two things out the way. Let me close this and jump into STIGs. Okay, so what are STIGs? STIG is an acronym for Security Technical Implementation Guide. As I stated before, it's pretty much the DoD's answer to streamlining a process to harden workstations, databases, operating systems. It's basically a whole system that they implemented through DISA, Defense Information Systems Agency, to disperse to all their DoD components, all organizations, every aspect of the military and federal, to my knowledge, and just have their IA personnel, security personnel, go through this process to harden systems. It's not perfect, but it is better than nothing. As I said before, a lot of people look at it as a see all, be all, do all, but that's not the case. So I'm going to go through where you can find STIGs, where you can download the STIG Viewer, which is the DoD tool they created to open the STIGs and work with them, modify them, create checklists, edit files, and whatnot. And so if you're a student or you're looking to get into IA and government contracting, this is pretty much, you're probably going to see this. It's one of those things that's probably not avoidable. I mean, it could be avoidable in some aspects, but for the most part, 85 to 90% of you guys out there in government contracting are going to see these at some point in your career. If not, it's going to be a major part. So with that being said, let's go here to the public Cyber.mil site. You can, if you look at the screen, you can go to public.cyber.mil or DoD Cyber.mil. I think it's going to resolve both to this one here. This is the DoD Cyber Exchange. It's been, I think this started as far as last November, so about a year now. It replaced the old IASE site, which used to be the place where you can get information, cyber information, STIGs and STIG Viewer and whatnot, but they changed to this. So pretty much, if you go to this site, here we have the SRG STIGs, so we're just going to open this here. It's pretty self-explanatory. You know, they have the header, they have all the different information about it. You can view and download STIGs, and this is pretty much when you're working in IA in a government facility or in a government environment, you're probably going to work a lot out of this site, pulling new STIGs. You know, they update these all the time. You know, they're constantly getting updated. Some get updated faster than others, and others, for whatever reason, just seem to be outdated and just won't get updated. But first thing we're going to have you do, or take a look at, is let's go to the SRG and STIG tools and viewings guidance. Again, here you can get a plethora of information. What I'm going to do pretty much is just download STIG Viewer 2.9.1 for Windows. That's the system I'm working on. They have different versions. They have the jar file. If you have Java runtime, you can open it on any system. But what I'm going to do is click on this, download this, and this is just downloading. And put it on the desktop. This is downloading the actual viewer. For Windows, it's going to be a bat file that you can use to open the STIGs, to modify, to make checklists, to go through your manual checks and whatnot. So I think we have that. And then, so we're going to go to the STIG library compilations. And this works best for me. I just get the entire compilation, the whole library. It saves a lot of time for trying to search for specific technologies. I just grab the whole thing. I'll save it also to the desktop. And it pretty much, you always want to get the most up to date. So this was last updated August 8th, which is pretty recent. You know, they may change one or two out of this entire thing, and they still have to update this entire file. So now that we're downloading that, I'm going to come down here, extract the contents of STIG Viewer, just throw it right on the desktop. All right. And we have a folder here, and we have a bat file. I'm going to move this over. Here we have the bat file and all the dependent folders and files and such. So open this. We're probably going to get some type of Windows screaming at you. Yeah, more info. Run anyway. We know it's safe. It's from the site. I'm going to expand this. All right, so here we go. We got a STIG Viewer open. This is 2.9.1. This is pretty much the interface. If you're STIGing, this is the interface that you're gonna just stare at a lot of times, if not most of the hours. Let me unzip the compilation. We're gonna unzip this. So you see here, it's grabbing all the STIG checks that they have, all the files, all the type of devices, you know, Windows, Linux, Mac, whatever have you. All right, so now that we have that open, you're gonna go to File, Import STIG. Let's go to here. Open this. Okay, so here is the compilation. This is basically a listing of all the STIG files that DISA has uploaded to the site in the latest version, the August 8th version of their library, right? So let's say you're STIGing, and STIG is a verb in this field. If you're STIGing a Microsoft, let's find an easy one. Let's say you're STIGing Microsoft Office 2016, right? You can open this file, and then here you have pretty much every application from Office. You got Outlook, OneNote, OneDrive, yada yada, access all of this. So in this process of STIGing, hardening your applications, hardening your workstations, again, this is the process. We have, let's do Word. We'll do Microsoft Word 2016 V1R1. This is version 1, revision 1 of this particular STIG. We click open. It puts it here in the viewer. If we click this check, so now we have a slew of stuff. We have vulnerable IDs, rule names, and then we have these checks here. So this is, now when I was going in on STIGs in my last video, this is pretty much the process that I was protesting about. There's two ways to do this. There's There's manual, and then there's automatic, which the DoD has been trying to implement automatic STIG checks. We have ACAS, we have SCAP, and those are methods of automatically running scans and automation to do these checks for you, so you don't have to do them manually. But there's not a lot of issues. There's many false positives. So a scan will pop something that's not actually true. So in regards, it's almost like even if you do an automatic scan and you get this file outputted or output with data provided, you will still have to manually check a lot of them because there's a lot of false positives. So what I'm going to do real quick, these are the checks. So you have Vuln ID. Let's start with this one. You have V71041. It's got the title. You can read what it's about. This one in particular is disabling of username and password syntax from being used in URLs. It's saying this control must be enforced. 80% of the time, it's going to be as simple as a reg key check. You can have this discussion with the security folks, IA folks, whoever is in charge of particularly of the workstations, of maintaining the security, hardening of the operating system. If you yourself are an admin, you can just pretty much go to this key, check to see if this finding is here. And a lot of times, if there's a deviation from what is required, you can either document it. Well, you should document it and fix it as soon as possible through your change configuration board or whatever. But again, this is the manual side of just going through each one of these and checking each key. Now, a lot of them aren't reg keys. Some of them may be policy things. Others may be, going to a setting in a program or whatever. But it's pretty much self-explanatory from this point. Another thing that's important is what's called the CKL file or checklist file. So for instance, we have this here. We have the STIG Viewer up. We have our STIG imported. We want to create a file that we can either share out to other people. We can send it to IA folks. We can send it to CCR teams. Pretty much just document our security process, our hardening process. So I believe you can do this. You go to, make sure this is highlighted, and then create checklist, right? So then this is going to give you, basically, you can rename this, but this created a checklist for you to go through your manual checks and mark so what it is NR is not reviewed, right? So you can right click this, set status. So these are the different statuses. You have open. Open means it's a finding. You did the check and your system, your database, whatever, is not configured to what it's supposed to be. Not a finding mean the check matched. You did your reg key check. You checked the check text and everything is fine. There's no action from you. You're good to go. Not applicable. Now, not applicable means a lot of these checks. So how DoD works is they try to think of everything for every device, every application, every router, switch, operating system. And so you'll find a lot of times going through these, there's a lot of checks that may not apply to your specific environment. You may not have a specific technology implemented, and it'll tell you. There'll be options for you to say, hey, if you don't have this check is not applicable. And in other times, it may not be so black and white. You may have to use your own, intuition to say, hey, this doesn't apply to me. I'm going to mark it NA. But just be careful with that. NA is not a substitute for open. So if you find something that's open, and you try to persuade yourself or what's the word I'm looking for? Explain it away in a way that you can try to describe it as not a finding. Like you don't want to mess around with it. You don't want to do that. It's either not applicable, not a finding, or open most of the time, or not reviewed. And obviously, not reviewed is it hasn't been checked yet, either through a scanner or manual checks. So let's do a quick mock. So let's say I'm sitting with someone, we're going through these checks, or I'm self-assessing myself, my organization. I come to this key, I go to this key here, and the value of winword.exe is actually a 0. Okay, so that's a 0. Wait. If the value is 1, this is not a finding. Okay, let's say 0, right? So that's a finding, right? So what I'll do is I'd right click here, set status to open. So here you got some really cool reporting features. We got a circle graph. As we go through, let's do a little more. As we go through, you know, we find stuff that's, I got this thing is, here we go. There we go. There, I was looking for the greens and my status column was messing it up, but let's do some not applicable. So we have not applicable. All right, so here you go. So we have a really cool circle graph, you know, colors involved and everything. We got the reds is our open, obviously. Not a finding is the greens. So we have greens, which is good. It says not a finding. Not reviewed, 26 gray, and then not applicable 2, which is this light gray color. So you can see as you go through these, and you can do these for all the applications, all your operating systems, all your databases, all your servers, for every type of technology. There's VoIP, there's Cisco, there's switches, there's all types of stuff. As you go through these, you get to have a better understanding of how your organization is postured. Again, according to the STIG checks, according to DoD and DISA. Again, this is not the see all be all. You know, I would never say, I hope nobody else out there would say they're unhackable because they're STIG compliant on everything. You know, if someone says that, then they're probably getting shells dropped on them in that very instant. I would never say that. Even if all these are not a finding, all your STIG checks are perfect, that does not necessarily mean you're unhackable or invulnerable. It's just you're hardening your system per DoD regulation. So that's important to understand. So this is the overall totals. If we come up to the tabs here, we got Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3. These are severity gauges. Cat 1 obviously are, well, not obviously, but Cat 1 are serious. Cat 2 are medium, and then Cat lows are 3s, or Cat 3s are lows. If you have many Cat 1s, I don't know why this isn't popping up here. Let's find a Cat 1. Or maybe there are no Cat 1s on this. Oh yeah, no, there's, okay. Okay, in this particular STIG for, what is it? What was this? I forget. Oh, Microsoft Word. Apparently there's no Cat 1s for Microsoft Word. There's only 2s and 3s. Well, not even 3s. These are all 2s. Okay. So yeah, generally, as you click each tab, it'll list the STIG checks that are Cat 1s, the STIG checks that are Cat 2s, which is all of these, and then the STIG checks that are Cat 3s. If you wanted to, let's go back to overall. Let's say we're done. We're done our review, right? We went through all of these, either self-assessment or whatever, and you want to export this checklist. You can go to File, Save Checklist As. It's going to save as a CKL file. You can name it whatever. Let's call it MS Word. Date, what's today? 9. Oh no, it's October 1st. Save it to the desktop, right? Minimize this. So here we have our CKL files, the checklist file. A lot of times these are the files that will be validated, you know, through validators, through IEA personnel, through inspection teams. You can send those to them, and usually they'll sit with you and go through these and validate. So if you're self-assessing, you never want to fib, you know, be truthful, do the best that you can. If there's things you could fix, items you could fix, go ahead, obviously fix them. But most of the time, you want to go through your change configuration board. And again, you don't want to be hasty in fixing something, because let's say there's a key that you find and you say, hey, I can fix this right now. You just want to be careful, go through your CCB process, because there's a possibility changing something can break something else. You don't want to be on a router or a switch or some type of important device or whatever, start changing things because you want to be STIG compliant. And then you end up breaking functionality of the network or whatever. So, and that's another thing too, that there's plenty of times where the STIG checks and what it's asking for isn't feasible for the environment. So again, that's where you have to understand your environment, know what you can do, what you can't do. If there's a STIG check or a security check, a DoD regulation or something that your organization can't meet because it breaks something, or it's not feasible for some type of functionality, there's a process to get that waived, get the risk accepted, you definitely want to go through that. But don't just go through here and start checking everything and changing everything without going through the proper process. That could be very detrimental to the organization and possibly employment. Let's open up another type of. Let's see. Go back to the library. Let's see what would be interesting to do. Web server. We got a web server. Let's open that. Okay, so this is an SRG, Security Requirements Guide. So this is pretty much, it's the same process for a web server. I think this is vendor neutral. So it's not specific to Apache or IIS. It's pretty much a security, as it says, Security Requirements Guide. These are also important. You can go through here, check them, read it. Web server must limit the number of allowed simultaneous, blah, blah, blah. So, and then you just have to go through the configuration, go through documentation, whatever it is that you have to verify the rules being met. And again, this is just guidelines for hardening your systems, hardening your organization. It's not the see all, be all, do all. It is definitely guidelines. You have to know what can apply, what cannot apply, and what is feasible for your organization. But again, so for those who didn't know what STIGs were or what I was talking about, this is pretty much what I was talking about. If you are interested in getting into IA, information assurance, government contracting, cybersecurity, this is probably one of those things that's just not going to be avoidable in your career path. And then there's others that have to touch it once a month. They'll do their ACAS scan, SCAP scan, and then they have like a interval, maybe once a month, quarterly or whatever, that they have to do something like this. But again, this is definitely the DoD's answer to streamlining security hardening. I hope for those who did not know what I was talking about when I had those STIG breaks, I hope this answers your question. Again, if you have any questions, this is what a STIG is. Here's the site again. Hopefully this answered any questions that you might have had. And I would also, this is a public site. You can go to it. There's a CAC enabled version, a Common Access Card enabled version. Only if you have a CAC card, you're a contractor, you have access to that, obviously. But there's a plethora of information up here. So again, if you're looking to get into cyber, into IA, and especially in government contracting, I would recommend this site. Poke around, try to learn what you can. It's definitely helpful, definitely relevant. And I think that's all I have for today. I'm going to go ahead and get back on the job search. I do have an interview. Well, I have a interview with a hacker this weekend. I'm going to shoot. Hopefully I can drop that this weekend. Excited to leave you guys with another one of those. Next video, I'll do another book giveaway. And again, link here. If you haven't joined the email subscription list, please do so. Giving away a free book every month on the 1st. Already gave one away today. Already announced the winner for the video, the Red Team Hackers, Tribe of Hackers Red Team. That's all I have for today. I'm going to leave you guys now. If there's any other questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. I do appreciate you guys. Please share, like, subscribe. Send this video to someone who's interested in IA and cyber and government contracting. If they can go into an interview with this information, with an understanding of what STIGs are and what this aspect of the process is, they'll be better off. And again, hit me in the comments. Any questions or concerns, let me know. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.